Roll call, Doug.
Okay. Trustee Bell.
Here.
Trustee Wortham. Whoops. Went out of order, didn't I? Trustee Lee, let's try that one.
Here.
Trustee Wortham.
Perfect, right.
I see you on the screen, Maxine. Are you muted?
Can you hear me?
Okay. Trustee McBride.
Here.
I believe we have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. Pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Doug. Receipt reading of the minutes.
Jennifer Lee moves approval, please.
Thank you, Jennifer. We have a second?
Second, Maxine Wortham.
Thank you, Maxine. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, receipt reading communications, Doug.
We have none tonight, sir.
Thank you. Report of officers. Moving along here, report of standing committees. Now we're moving back to you, Doug. Report of general manager.
Okay, couple highlights. The transit center's back open again. We're collecting fares. And as of today, we're back to running routes 100%. Most of the drivers are back and used up a lot of their time off for Christmas vacation and the holidays. We did get $6.433,507 million from the CRRSAA apportionment, which stands for Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act. So
Good.
that was that last bit of legislation they had at the end of December. And I thought we were going to get a little more than that, but that's the number they gave us today. So we'll see if it changes any. One of the things I wanted to note was our ridership's off a little bit right now. We've installed the Avail automatic passenger counters, and they're tied into the fare boxes so that they can double check each other. But I think there's a glitch because all of a sudden our ridership's dropped on some of our routes. So they're looking into that, and hopefully by the end of the month, we'll have that all fixed and taken care of. Other than that, I think that's the highlights.
Okay. Is there any questions of General Manager Wells?
Jennifer Lee has a question.
Yes, please.
Doug, we have talked about when we start to collect fares again, and I know that we've started to collect the fares on the 4th, that we were going to have somewhat of a grace period if people did not know and were not able to pay. About what percentage of the people did we have to give them a gratis ride?
Yeah, basically what we did was we had a soft opening. So that way, if somebody didn't have a fare, the drivers were told to just remind them that we're collecting fares now and make sure they got on the bus and gave them a ride. So we were going to try that for at least a couple of weeks, and versus a drop dead date, then everybody would wait until that date, and then we'd have to have the same procedures go again. So from what I've heard, it's going pretty smooth, and people are starting to have their fares ready.
Well, I think that's a great idea. Thank you so much for the information.
Thank you, Jennifer. Any more questions?
This is McBride. Have you heard anything on a replacement for Joan?
I went up to the Heights City Hall the other day, and they got it pretty well closed down. The mayor was busy, so wasn't able to visit with them, and I plan on reaching out to him this week and see where he's at in the process. So a long answer for no.
I was just gonna say that.
Beat you to it.
Okay, any more questions? Moving on, report of City Lift General Manager.
Good evening, everyone. This is Angel Marinich, and if it's okay with you, I would like to combine 8 and 9 County Link and City Lift, because it's pretty much the same summary tonight. Give you a summary of both services. We're just over a month into the new service, and we are coming around the bend. We've brought most of the incumbent staff over. Morale is improving, training is ongoing, and we are accident and incident free. Maintenance and safety are also doing very well in other regards. Our new facility remodel is almost complete. There are a few items left, such as a fuel tank and an overhead door, but there's some permits required and some factory orders there. So those are due to come here in the next few weeks. Right now, we're working with CityLink and the new software company to compile the data to finalize the December report. Due to the different software platforms that we had to use in December, locating the equivalent reports in the new software, there was a delay. However, Andy and I had a really productive meeting today with Ecolane, and I believe that we'll be able to now provide the final report and invoice to the district by Friday. I will say so far, it looks like our preliminary stats are right in line with the previous contractor. Ridership a little over 6,000 trips, revenue hours about 4,000, overtime, or not overtime, I'm sorry. On-time performance is kind of right around 95%. So we'll have the final numbers on those though this week to provide to everyone. We are going through some growing pains as to be expected. There are a lot of new things for everybody over here. However, we're really confident in our partnership with CityLink and Ecolane and with the union. I think we're all moving along really well and looking forward to some improved service levels and features. So hopefully a lot more details of different features that we may be bringing forth in the coming months. And that's it. Thank you. Unless anyone has any questions.
Anybody have any questions? Well, welcome back, Angel. There's no questions. Moving on.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Public comments.
We had no public comments.
How about old business? New business? Okay, let's go to resolution 2124. I believe Nick's going to present this one.
Yeah, hi, good evening.
Good evening,
Chris, can you bring up that first picture, please? Okay.
Looks nice.
So we received funding from a Lono grant in 2019 and funding from an Edwards settlement in 2020 to design and procure battery-operated buses. With these two funding sources, we've been able to design and are ready to be put in production for 3 different buses. So what you see on your screen there is kind of a concept of what a battery-operated bus looks like. 2 of ours will be delivered if it's approved, and they will come in a base white with Proterra logos on them. And once they are delivered, we will put CityLink logos on them. The other one will come with a full bus wrap promoting clean air and clean energy through the Edward Jones settlement, and the Sierra Club was a part of the awarding of the funds from them that we put some kind of wrap on there. And that's actually in the process of being designed as well. The next picture, which he has up there for me, is what a battery-operated Proterra bus looks like from the inside. The ones that we're getting will be able to have 27 passengers, 2 ADA spots. The colors are very similar to what you see there, so kind of a gray and blue combination. And once it's delivered, we're going to put the driver barrier in it, just like all the other buses in the fleet. So to the next one, please. Okay, these are the charging stations. The bigger picture that you see there, that's the main basically generator that charges our buses, and the power is dispersed to the charging dispensers right there. We are going to hang our chargers, which is a pretty good idea, from the ceiling, so there's no cords or tripping hazards, and the operators would just come in, push a button, lower down, basically like a gas nozzle, plug it in, and that's how you charge your bus. Like I said, we're going to get 3 of these. Each can charge up to 2 buses. By getting 3 sets, what you're seeing there, we will be set infrastructure-wise for the future, so we'd be able to add up to 3 more buses without having to procure additional chargers. Like I said, each one of these can charge 2 buses. They can do it sequentially, and they can take pretty much a dead bus and charge them ready to go back out on the road within 6 hours. So to the next slide, please. This is what the batteries look like. They're actually pretty cool. They're made with a ballistic grade material to withstand tough conditions, such as Illinois winter. With the buses that we're getting, there's going to be 4 of them, and they have a range of somewhere around 200 miles at a full charge. So next one. This is kind of a 3D image of the batteries again. Proterra does extensive possible incident training or like simulated crashes with these types of batteries. So we know if they can withstand crashes, what happens if debris hits them, they hit the casing that they're stored in, they have overcharged, they flood with coolant, anything like that. They're actually really tough, durable batteries. They last for a very long time. Most of their useful life is 7 to 10 years. So go to the last one. And this is a concept of what the engine and transmission looks like. Obviously not a typical engine and transmission like we're used to with diesel buses. This is called a Pro Drive through Proterra. It's somewhere around 335 horsepower, and it can take a bus from 0 to 20 in 6 seconds. So it's got some little bit of pep to it. But this is kind of just like a very basic overview of what these buses look like, kind of what they entail, how they operate. But it is recommended that the Board of Trustees authorizes and directs the chairman to execute the contractual agreement with Proterra for the purchase of 3 35-foot buses, as well as 3 chargers to go along with them. So if obviously there's any questions, please ask me, email, call me. I can give you a lot more information about these buses. But I turn it back over to you for your vote.
I have a question. This is Jennifer. Nick, we were able to see these at an APTA conference, and they're fabulous. I love the presentation. I have a question, though. Should a bus be recharging while it's on the road? How do we do that?
There are chargers that you could put in the field. We would probably look into procuring chargers that go into the field if we were to get most of our fleet turned over to electric. Charging in the field is very, very expensive to do. These buses and their range can cover all of Peoria with more than enough charge to make them back to the depot to recharge again. So for them to die in the field, probably, hopefully, knock on wood, won't happen. There's more than enough energy source for them to get back.
I wasn't sure how much that 200 miles. So for a regular route, it's no way it would be 200 miles. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. There's also, that right there is 200 miles is like their base. There's reserve energy that they have on these buses, but they don't factor into the overall, like how much, quote, fuel you have left. So if they say you have a half a tank left, you actually have more than that, but we don't want to push it to its max. So once it gets low, we just bring them back and circulate them back into rotation.
Well, I think this is a fabulous idea. It's great for the city. It's great for the ecology. So thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, I have a question, Nick. On the average, what's a bus do? How many miles per day or per shift does a bus normally travel?
Depends on the route, honestly. From my understanding, it's somewhere between 50 and 100 miles. So 200 miles, they could come back in, be cleaned, whatever service they need to be done, and almost parked and be ready to put back out again.
50 to 100 miles.
Does that sound right, Doug?
Yeah, again, depends on the routes and,
Yes.
if
And
they.
also getting three 35-foot buses. 35-foot buses can service every route in Peoria versus kind of the larger buses. They kind of have trouble doing some turns. 35-foot buses can serve the entire community and East Peoria with no problems.
Yeah, we should have 35-foot buses many years ago. But the bottom
45.
they're just, so they should conceivably be able to get back from their route. My next question would be, on these buses, how long does it take to charge one?
From empty, it takes 6 hours.
The 6 hours, okay.
They have other chargers, like you could do like mini charges. We could do like these really fast micro charges can beef them up to, get them like a quarter tank. But those are obviously different chargers, have larger power capacity. But the chargers that we're asking for approval on it would work with rotation of the buses. So you bring them in and you swap out other buses and just keep them circulating throughout the day and evening.
All right.
They're good starter chargers, I guess you'd say.
Are there any more questions?
Jennifer Lee moves approval.
Do we have a second?
Maxine Wilson was second that.
Okay, until, your roll call vote, Sharon?
Trustee Bell,
Approved?
Trustee Wortham,
Approve.
Trustee Lee,
Approved.
Trustee McBride approved. The motion passes.
Thank you, Sharon.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to congratulate the grant writers because the Sierra grant, I think you wrote those grants last year? Wasn't that last
ma'am.
year?
Last year.
Okay, and I just congratulate you for being able to get that money to get those buses.
Thank you. Jamie had a big part of that as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Right.
Okay, the vote passes. We're going to resolution 2125. Jason?
Good evening, everyone. Unfortunately, I don't have pictures to go along with this presentation, so I'll try to make it quick as not to bore you. I'm seeking approval for safety and operations plan consulting services. We put out an RFP over the summer to address some areas, specifically standard operating procedures for our operations department, safety and emergency operations procedures, maintenance plan and a fleet management plan, maintenance operating procedures, and an emergency operations plan. And what we're looking to do is to bring in a consultant to work with us to bring us in line with current standards, best practices, and help bring the Greater Peoria Mass Transit District in line with comparable agencies and kind of bring our policies up into the 21st century. With the proposals, we received 8 proposals. One was non-responsive and was eliminated after our initial round. Our top 3 were TRA, Michael Baker, and LTK Engineering, and TRA had the highest score of the 3. So I am recommending to the board that they approve the contract to evaluate and update our existing operations, maintenance, and safety plans and procedures in an amount not to exceed $161,593.29. And that's it.
Does anybody have any questions of Jason?
Jennifer Lee has a question.
Go ahead, Jennifer.
Hi, Jason. Is TRA a local company?
TRA is based in Pennsylvania. They do have if I remember correctly from the proposal, a local company that they do work with that is a DBE, and Jamie would have to clarify my memory on that one. I believe their DBE was out of Chicago, if I remember correctly.
Is Jamie at the meeting today?
Yeah, they did have a DBE listed on their proposal. If you want, I don't have it in front of me, but I'll send you an email and let you know who it is.
I would appreciate that. This is Jennifer Lee making the request.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
I guess, Jason? Still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, I don't, were any of these, was anybody from Peoria area on the list? Well, okay. Well, my understanding there wasn't. Okay. Do I have a motion?
McBride, I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Lee will second.
Okay, so roll call vote, Sharon.
Okay, Trustee Bell,
Approved.
Trustee Wortham,
Approve.
Trustee Lee,
Approved.
Trustee McBride approves. The motion passes.
Thank you, Sharon. Financial report, Christine Fang.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our staff is going to provide a monthly summary of the financial activity for your approval. In December, the total monthly operating expense of $2,830,66.27. Compared with our monthly budget, it's a little bit over more than our projection. The major one is our payroll expense. In December, compared with normally 4 weeks, we have a 5 weeks payroll, and also many vacation payout for our driver and also the maintenance staff. Also regular payment for our pension and also the benefit for health insurance. And the big part is paratransit transportation service purchase as well. It's staff recommend board approve December of our financial activity with the dollar amount $2,830,066.27.
Thank you, Christine. Any questions? Do I have a motion?
Jennifer Lee,
McBride, I'll make the motion.
and Jennifer Lee,
Second.
Jennifer Lee will second.
Thank you. Roll call vote, Sharon.
Okay, Trustee Bell,
Approved.
Trustee Wortham,
Approve.
Trustee Lee,
Approved.
Trustee McBride approve. The bills can be paid.
Well, we're gonna,
Mr. Chairman, did I miss something? Did we have something else on the agenda? Or did I miss it?
this one.
Did we have resolution 2119?
It's not in my packet, Maxine.
2119. Is that what you said?
Yeah, maybe I got the wrong one.
Yeah.
I'm looking
yeah,
at
I
my
don't-
booklet. I thought I saw another. We don't have but 2 things tonight? Okay.
There are more questions.
Yeah.
Art, this is Bill Wambacher, Art. Let me just, point out something. Occasionally we have board members asking the question about, is this bidder from Peoria? Is this bidder from Illinois? Let me explain something that I think it's kind of important to be cognizant of. When a project is federally funded, there is no local preference allowed. So, when the money comes from the federal government, what they're concerned about is, number one, that you pick a good, contractor, a good provider of services. And number two, they want to make sure it's at a good price. So there's no local preference that's allowed, and actually that's impermissible. So I have always kind of, to the extent I can, discourage board members from asking about, is there anybody from Peoria? Is there anybody from Illinois that's bid on a job? Because it's really impermissible in a consideration when a project is federally funded, because the feds don't want that being done. The feds want, again, the best contractor at the best price. They don't care whether the contractor is from Peoria, Illinois, or from San Francisco, California. That's all. Thank you.
Well, this is Jennifer Lee, and I appreciate it, Bill. I think we knew that. My question is, if it's a local bidder, I'd like to know. And certainly it has nothing to do with preference or anything else, but I'd like to know if someone right down the street is helping us.
Sure,
So
that's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we were looking for a local, but that's a good information. I really appreciate that. All right, before we adjourn, a reminder of future meetings. As a matter of fact, a reminder of this meeting. This meeting, Monday, January 11th, 2021, and meetings at the Greater Peoria Mass Transit District main office, 2105 Northeast Jefferson Avenue, Peoria, Illinois 6103. Now, future meetings, Monday, February 8th, 2021, and Monday, March 8th, 2021. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
You got it.
I second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, everybody. Happy
Thank
New Year.
Have a great
Good
weekend.
night, y'all.
Stay safe.
Yes, you as well. Stay well.